Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch. I love it when companies send me a prototype. I love it even more when they send me 5 prototypes. Yes, that's right. Today I've got 5 prototypes to show you from Straton. You perhaps noted one of them, this wee guy spinning round in circles in my watch winder over the last week or so. It's the brand new Speciale model. Although Kyle, the owner of Straton, is big into Alfa Romeos, perhaps it's more correctly pronounced the Straton Speciale. But I'm going to hedge my bets today and just call it the Speciale. Kyle is offering this watch in no less than 2 different finishes, matte or polished, with 2 different movements and 5 different colour schemes, not to mention various bracelets that are on offer. A bewildering array of options. That's why he sent me 5 of them. If you're interested in this watch then, this video will probably give you a good idea of the pros and cons of each of the models. And I'm quite excited. I get to look at my first Valjoux 7750 automatic Swiss chronograph. Bit of a legend of a movement, that one. Let's flip the camera and get on with it. Plenty to get through today. Indeed you do have plenty to get through today, Jody. 5 watches, 3 different case finishes, 2 different movements and a couple of bracelets thrown into the mix as well. But before I go on, I thought that in the interest of fairness, I should declare a little bit of bias. I'm totally into the new retro, new vintage thing. As you can see, these 2 watches on the left and right are my 2 big watch purchases from last year and this year. The Junot Ocean Rover on the left and my beloved Oris 65 on the right, a watch that I'm still enjoying my honeymoon period with. Now these 2, along with the Stratons, look like they've just stepped out of the past. The designs belong from another decade, and yet they're all brand new watches. You're getting the convenience of purchasing something new with a warranty. There's no risk, there's no question of service history or authenticity, and you're getting the look and the feel of a vintage watch without all of that inherent risk. I can totally understand why people would go for these Stratons. Very much my cup of tea, these ones. But the new retro thing generally doesn't come cheap. You're always paying a little bit of a premium for those vintage good looks. So how much are these Stratons then? Well, the Mecca Quartz flavors, and I've got 2 of them to show you today, they come in at $499. The Valjoux 7750 powered automatics come in at $1199, so a more considerable investment required for the autos. However, I spoke to Kyle, and if you are interested in any of these pieces, you will find a 10% discount code in the description of the video. So that takes the Mecca Quartz down to $450 and the Valjoux one down underneath $1,100. So I'm going to judge them on that basis today as if you had applied that 10% discount code. So where are we going to start then, Jody? Well, why not let's start with the 2 slightly cheaper offerings, the Mecca Quartz versions. Regardless of which version you go for, they all come supplied in one of these Straton leatherette travel pouches. Very sturdy actually, I do like these as an alternative to the box. You also get one of these racing straps included in the package and a spring bar remover so you can swap the straps out yourself. I do have a bit of a thing for this brown one, let's get into it. So Mecca Quartz dimensions as follows: 42mm in diameter, and it's a square case, so oddly enough, it is just about 42mm lug to lug today, so they wear exceptionally well given that set of dimensions. We're just under 14mm thick, we've got 22mm lug width, tapering down to 20mm at the buckle. This one weighs in on the supply leather strap at 94 grams. 316L stainless steel case, however all of these Speciales have got a DLC clear coat on them, so this high polish finish is likely to stay in great shape for many years to come. We've got a screw down crown giving all of the Straton Speciales 100 meters of water resistance, though as always with a chronograph, don't be pushing the buttons underwater. You are unlikely to do the watch any favours. You've also got a lovely piece of domed sapphire crystal on there with a bit of AR coating on the underside. Zoomed right in on the dial, I think the brown colour is by far the most crushingly 1970s of all of them. Just looks fabulous in my eyes. Sunburst effect on the main dial. You've also got those 3 sub-dials there at the 6, 9 and 12. Little orange hands, orange tip to the
the hour batons and the hour and minute hands as well there. Just fantastic. So the only way you can tell this one is a quartz, apart from having Mecca Q written there at the 3 o'clock, is the little ticking second hand effectively down there at the 6. So let's have a look at the chronograph then. This is the VK67 model Mecca quartz, so one push of the top pusher and you can see the chronograph timer there beginning to tick away, 5 ticks per second. We've got a 60-minute counter at the 12 o'clock subdial and a 12-hour counter at the 9 o'clock subdial. So you can time to within a fifth of a second for up to 12 hours using this one. Another push of the top pusher to stop and the bottom pusher there to reset. Nice snappy action with these Mecca quartz. You might also notice a little bit of radial brushing just around that outer rim, around the bezel there also. Kyle is a self-confessed petrolhead, and this case back is a bit of a nod to that. We've got a speedometer there with the Speciale logo on the bottom, just advertising 10 atmospheres water resistance, and the fact that this one contains the Mecca quartz movement. All very nice indeed. An extra little touch there on the back of the watch. Also available as an alternative to the high polish with DLC clear coat is a matte finish with DLC clear coat. Again, looks great. If you're not into that super polished finish on your watch, then you can opt for this one. This is another Mecca quartz model. As you can see, it's a kind of forest green, quite a dark green dial with matching strap, and always nice to note matching hardware. Also matte finish rather than polished there with the Straton logo engraved on the buckle. So your first option then, if you will, is the Mecca quartz model. You've got the look and feel of something straight out of the 1970s, but with a brand new movement from the 2010s. Super accurate, super reliable. You don't need to adjust the time with these ones. Just replace the battery every couple of years, 450 bucks. But the one I've really been looking forward to getting my hands on is this one, powered by the Valjoux 7750, an incredibly appropriate movement to put in this watch, as the movement itself dates back to the early 1970s. Though launched in the early 1970s, the quartz crisis of the late 70s, early 80s almost killed off the Valjoux 7750. It had to wait for the resurgence of the Swiss watch industry in the 1990s for its time to shine, if you will. But still going strong, variants of this movement are found in IWCs, Hublots, plenty of Tag Heuers, and pretty much everything in between, and the design hasn't changed all that much since the early 1970s. It's still a unidirectional rotor winding. One of the kind of characteristics of the movement is that you can feel the rotor wobble, you can almost hear it as well. So whether you find that annoying or charming is entirely up to you, but it is very much part of the 7750's ownership experience. So the jump from Mecca quartz to auto adds about $600 to the price. It also adds about 2mm to the thickness of the watch. So it is something you notice on the wrist. I'm going to do a comprehensive kind of series of wrist shots with this later on. Still wears very well though because of those super short lugs, the kind of square 70s style casing. Dial configuration then with the Valjoux is similar but different. The second subdial is at the 9 o'clock. You've got a 30-minute chronograph timer at the 12 and a 12-hour chronograph timer at the 6 o'clock. You also get a day-date complication, which I think goes some way to justifying the price alone, certainly adding versatility to the automatic version of the Speciale if you are considering using it as an everyday piece. Another trait, as well as the wobble and the noise, is a distinctly snappy, very satisfying pusher operation there. Again, one click to start, second click to stop, and another snap of the bottom pusher to reset the chrono. So we've had a look at the black dial, brown dial and green dial. The automatic is also available with this matte finish, and the blue dial, those orange accents as well. There's more than a whiff of Tag Monaco, the kind of Gulf colours about this one. Again, very much in keeping with the new vintage philosophy in the 1970s look. Or if you prefer the vintage aesthetic but with a kind of modern slant, you can get this one in a black DLC coating. So again, with a DLC clear coat on top, but giving the kind of stealthy look. And you can also opt for a bracelet. Now the bracelets are alright, a cost option. Kyle says these are prototypes. He's going to kind of adjust the clasp mechanism, Straton branded there. They're not amazing given the overall cost of the watch, a kind of $1,000 watch, but they're only $49. So it's a bit of a no-brainer really, adding one of these bracelets, regardless of which watch you're interested in. For 50 bucks, you can't really go wrong. Mill clasp, solid links, and those kind of straight cut 1970s end links, as you can see there. So how has the Valjoux in this black dial model been running then? Well, not bad for an old mate. That's it, running over the course of a couple of weeks, and check that chart. I mean, that is remarkably consistent there, hovering around the -7.2, -7.1, you know, within a couple of points of a second. So looks like you're going to get some very consistent timekeeping if you do spend the extra for one of these auto Valjoux movements. It's a 4K high beat movement, 25 joule, and should give you 42 hours of power reserve when fully wound. Pop up a loom shot more for your reference than the reality. These are prototypes, so Kyle has assured me that there will be more loom, more layers of either C3 or BG9W or a combination like there is on this one, but that gives you an idea of the loom layout if nothing else. Let's get these 5 bad boys on wrist then and have a good look at how they wear. This one, the brown Mecca Quartz with the slimmer 14mm, weighing in at 95 grams as mentioned. With these short lugs, kind of 41mm lugs, I think this watch is going to suit guys with smaller wrists, but there's so much presence there from that case shape that if you've got big 8-inch, 8.5-inch wrists even, you're still not going to look out of place with these ones. Love the racing strap as well, and it's a nice piece of dead cow, smells pretty good. I like those perforations. This is the matte finish forest green Mecca Quartz, also looks pretty good on wrist, wears nicely, very much hugs the wrist because of that low case back afforded by the slightly slimmer Mecca Quartz movement. On to the autos then. So not only does the Valjoux add a little bit of height there, taking it up to just under 16mm, it also adds a few grams. This one on the leather strap weighs in at just under 120 grams, so it is noticeably more top heavy, but it's still not outlandish, still wears very nicely. This is the one I've been wearing out and about most, and I have had more compliments about this watch than pretty much anything else that I wear. People at my work know I'm a watch guy, they know that I've usually got a different watch on my wrist every day, and I had multiple people point this one out. It really is a little bit special. And on to the matte finish auto with the matching all matte coloured bracelet. As I said, these bracelets are pretty much a no-brainer. You certainly can't accuse Straton of gouging, charging $49 for an optional bracelet. So I think whatever model you go for, you may as well add one of these onto your order as well. 186 grams on the bracelet, so obviously we have gained a little bit of weight, but perhaps it kind of balances out a little more. This one wears a little less top heavy than the leather strap because the weight is all the way around the wrist, so wears pretty nicely. And last but not least then, it's the all black version. Again, same set of dimensions and specifications as the matte one. I quite like this one as well, the nice contrast, very legible dial, given it's just white, a little splash of orange there, and then all black. I believe that the black is also available in matte or high polish, giving you a couple of different looks there too. My favourites then, well, these two. I didn't expect to enjoy the polish quite as much as I have. I'm normally a brushed guy on my watches, but I think this polish just adds a little bit of extra pop, and the fact that it's got that DLC clear coat on it means you can wear it with confidence. I love the brown, super 70s, and the Mecca Quartz, nice, wears very, very well on that leather strap. But you know, if you've got the extra funds, the Valjoux 7750 Auto in that black dial perhaps for everyday wear, or the brown if you just want to get a bit radical. Great watch.
So there you have it, it is indeed a little bit special. I can see the point in this one. The Mecca Quartz wears very, very nicely indeed, and I got more compliments about that watch than any other piece that I can remember. The Valjoux, different proposition, double the price at $1,000, but if it's got to be auto, then I can still see a lot of value in that one. My favourite, definitely the high polish finish, especially with that extra durable coating, should wear very well indeed, but the decision, as they say, is yours. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video.